Hello everyone, my name is Brian and welcome back to Barb's Vault. Today in the Vault we're going to be discussing a Bloodied Commando build. So if you're new to the game, I'm sure you've seen lots of players running around, very low health, but they're also super heavily irradiated. So that in the business is what we call a Bloodied build, and you can do this with any type of weaponry in the game, but today we're going to focus on the Commando build. So that's going to be all of your automatic rifles, your handmaids, your combat rifles, your fixers, and I'm going to take you through a step-by-step process and how to gear yourself towards this kind of a build. I'm going to let you know this is a rather long process. It took me a very long time to get this figured out, and it can be rather grindy. So we're going to go through a step-by-step guide, and make sure you check in the comment section below for chapter markers and jump around to whatever stage in this you're actually at. And like I said, it can be very, very grindy. It can take a rather long time, but believe me, it is worth it. There's a reason why this is mainly the meta of the game. But in this video, we're going to focus on perk cards, armor, weaponry, and mutations that you can use to get the most out of this kind of a build. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and take a look at our perk cards, but I'm going to let you know the more important ones right off the jump: perception, intelligence, agility, and luck. So if you're rather low level, you're going to want to pour as many points as you can into intelligence. It just helps you level up faster, and you can get more of these perk cards way quicker. So we're going to go ahead and start off with perception. So we have concentrated fire, that's targets limbs, focus fire to gain high accuracy and damage per shot. Then we have Commando, Expert Commando, and Master Commando. So these ones are the ones that are going to make your automatic rifles do the most damage. And all three of these perk cards will add 20% more damage to any automatic rifle. Then a really great one is Tank Killer. Your rifles and pistols ignore 36% armor and have a 9% chance to stagger. And then in intelligence, we have Wrecking Ball. You deal 40% damage to workshop objects. Nerd Rage, really big one for bloodied builds. While below 20% health, gain 40 damage resistance, 20% damage, and 15% AP regen. So a great way to keep doling out that damage and to keep yourself alive. Then we have Scrapper, obtain more components when you scrap weapons and armor. Gunsmith, I've noticed that my automatic rifles break rather quickly, so what this does is guns break 50% slower and you can craft tier 5 guns. Then we have Chemist, you get double the quantity when you craft chems. And then again, the weapon degradation, we have Weapon Artisan. You can repair any weapon to 200% normal maximum condition. So we have a card to keep your gun from breaking, and we have one to give it way more of a lifespan. Then Contractor, crafting workshop items now cost 25% fewer materials. I just have that and Wrecking Ball in there as, you know, some base building stuff. There's not a lot of perk cards and intelligence that actually gear towards your bloodied build, but again, I got the points, might as well spend them. Then we have Agility, Action Boy. Action points regenerate 45% faster. And then you're going to notice I use a lot of stealth perk cards. And the reason why that is because I use a silenced fixer, so that way I can stay in stealth and just do crazy damage. So we have Covert Operative. Your range attacks do an additional 50% sneak attack damage. Sneak, you are 75% harder to detect while sneaking. Escape Artist, sneak to lose enemies and running no longer affects stealth. Then we have Gun Fu, one of my absolute personal favorite cards. That swaps to targets on kill with a 10%, 30%, and then 60% damage to your next 3 targets. And then Adrenaline, gain plus 7%, max 42% damage for 30 seconds per kill. Duration refreshes with kills. So this one can be swapped out, I think, rather well for evasive. Each agility point adds plus 3 resistance to damage and energy. So that's another one that's great for keeping you alive. But the most crucial thing to keeping you alive as a bloodied build is your luck perk cards. So the really huge one is Serendipity. While below 30% health, gain a 45% chance to avoid damage. We have Psychopath. Any kill in VATS has a 5% chance to refill your critical meter. Better criticals. VATS criticals now do plus 100% damage. Then we have Class Freak. The negative effects of your mutations are reduced by 75%. And we'll get into mutations here in just a little bit. We have Starch Genes. You will never mutate from rats, and Radaway will never cure your mutations. And again, we'll touch on a little bit later on. Critical Savvy. Critical hits now only consume 55% of your critical meter. And then in luck, we have a few other really great cards that you can kind of plug and play to your heart's desire. I would recommend Grim Reaper's Sprint. Any kill in VATS has a 35% chance to restore all action points. So you can keep those action points flowing, you're doing more damage, you're hitting more criticals, all that good stuff. Just insane damage output. And then Ricochet, gain an 18% chance to deflect back some of enemies' ranged damage, no PvP. So another really good card for keeping yourself alive and tearing through opponents rather quickly. And then we also have Tormentor. Your rifle attacks have a 5% chance of crippling a limb, but that goes all the way up to 15%. And then we'll move on to some of the better quality of life cards. So we have Inspirational. When you're on a team with others, gain 50% more XP. I would recommend putting this one on immediately, either this or Hard Bargain. So those are going to be really, really good cards when you're first starting out. Again, you're going to be leveling up way faster, and you're going to be spending less caps when you're buying items from non-player vendors. Then we have Strange in Numbers. Positive mutation effects are 25% stronger if teammates are mutated too. Again, we'll touch on mutations here in a little bit. Tenderizer. Make your target receive 7% more damage for 7 seconds after you attack. And we can bring that all the way up to 10%. And then in Endurance, we have one of my other favorite cards, Ironclad. Gain plus 50 resistance to damage and energy while not wearing power armor. Again, power armor hater, super crucial to me. Then we have Fireproof, take 15% less damage from explosions and flame attacks. So if you're out there and a Mothman cultist runs up to you, throws a Molotov cocktail, this has a way better chance of keeping you alive. You can actually upgrade this all the way up to 45% less damage, and I would be more willing to do that if I had more points to sacrifice, but here we are. And then in Strength, we have Traveling Pharmacy. Weight of all chems, including stim packs, are reduced by 60%. And that can go all the way up to 90%, so you can just carry on all these things and it won't drag you down at all. And then Sturdy Frame, armor weighs 50% less than normal. So this build, we're kind of weak as piss, but we do have cards that kind of alleviate some of that weight distribution. Okay, so we're at a punch card machine. We're going to take a look at how I have my special points allocated. We have Strength 4, Perception 15, Endurance 1, Charisma 1, Intelligence 10, Agility 15, Luck 10. So I'm sure you're looking at these numbers and wondering why it reflects differently in my perk cards. And the reason why that is because of our legendary perk cards. Let's go ahead and take a look at those guys. So we have our legendary perk cards for Endurance, Agility, Charisma, Intelligence, Luck, and Follow Through. So all these ones that are special allocations, what they do is they give you +5 to those perk points. So you can wear different armor that would say increase your intelligence, or you can have mutations that increases your intelligence, but they won't actually give you special points to allocate in your perk cards. These will allow you to do that. So +5 intelligence and +5 intelligence perk points. That's the really crucial part. So that's why when you see my special points and you can see that I have my intelligence set to 10, this gives me 5 more points to work with. And then Follow Through, which is a huge one. Range sneak damage increases damage to target by 40% for 10 seconds. Okay, so next up is our armor selection, and there's a lot of different types of unyielding armor out there in the wild, but the Secret Service armor is goated for a reason. The damage resistance and the stats on these things is insane. So you can see here that I have all unyielding rolls on these guys. Now let's go ahead and take a look at this item description here. This is where this build really shines. Gain up to +3 to all special stats, except for Endurance, when health is low, currently +2. So the more irradiated you get and the lower your health is, you're just going to be reaping benefits from these, and each one of these will give you those same perks. So let's go ahead and take a look at our special points here. You can see that my intelligence is set to 29. So if I was a little bit more irradiated, we'd be getting even more from that. So in order to get this armor, you're going to need to beat the main quest line, and you're going to end up here at Vault 79. You're going to talk to our boy Regs. Let's go ahead and head down there. So right when you come down, you're going to hook an immediate left. We're going to see our cool boy here, Regs. He's appeared in a lot of videos. So we're going to go all the way down to Secret Service, and it's going to pop up as owned for me because obviously I already have all the armor. But just to cut to the chase, all of the limbs are going to cost you 750 gold bullion, and the main torso piece is going to cost you 1,250. So these are not cheap plans. So if somehow you stumbled your way through the entire campaign and you don't know what gold bullion is, you get treasury notes from completing public events, and then we're here at the White Spring Mall, one of the free locations to travel to in the map. We're going to head right in here, hook a right, and we're going to see a gold press machine. So right now, I have 9 treasury notes I can hand in. That's going to give me 90 gold bullion. So let's say, theoretically, you're a high roller, you've hit cap limit, you've got lots of caps to spend, and you want to get this armor very quickly. There is a way that you can actually buy gold bullion directly. So opening up our map just south of Vault 79, we have the Wayward right here. Okay, so right when we load in, we're going to go ahead and take a left, head up these stairs, and we're looking for our boy Smiley right here. So I'm going to go ahead and warn you, the conversion rate on this is rough. Like I said, it is super grindy to get the Secret Service armor, but we're going to go ahead and talk to our boy Smiley here. And this guy actually sells you gold bullion. Go ahead and tell him that we're interested. You can see here how expensive this stuff is. So you can only buy gold bullion once a day, and you can see here that it's 6,000 caps for 300 gold bullion. So that is a lot of cheddar we're talking about. But I right now am very, very close to cap limit, so let's just go ahead and buy some gold bullion. Okay, so here at an armorer's workbench, we're going to go ahead and see how much it costs us to actually craft a piece of Secret Service armor. And that's going to cost you 5 legendary cores. And you also get legendary cores when you finish public events. So if you're mid-game-ish, make sure you're just jumping into every single event that you possibly can. You get the gold bullion and you get the legendary cores. Okay, so how do we get legendary modules? So what you're going to want to do is you can grab any of your regular legendary items. Let's grab this Elder's Mark. Bring it over here to the legendary exchange. You hand in this guy and you get legendary script. What you're going to do, bring it over here to our little mole man friend, hit trade, and that's how you purchase yourself legendary modules. Pretty straightforward. So what you're going to need to do is you're going to need to go ahead and re-roll these guys until you eventually at some point get an unyielding set. Next up, we're going to talk about mutations. Now this one can still be rather tedious, but it's not as convoluted as getting Secret Service armor and then re-rolling those to get unyielding. So we're going to go ahead and take a look at our mutations we have here. I have Adrenal Reaction, Bird Bones, Eagle Eyes, Egghead, Grounded, Healing Factor, Herbivore, Herd Mentality, Marsupial, Scaly Skin, and Speed Demon. Now, not all of these is going to be 100% necessary to be really effective with the Bloodied build. But the ones I would recommend that you purchase are Scaly Skin, Marsupial, Egghead, Eagle Eyes, and Adrenal Reaction. Adrenal Reaction, max HP minus 12, plus weapon damage at low HP. So again, we're gearing ourselves towards low health. Eagle Eyes, Perception plus 4, Strength minus 1, Critical Damage plus 50%. Then I would say Egghead because it's giving us more intelligence. Again, we want big brain, we want to level up as fast as possible. So Intelligence plus 6, Endurance minus 1, Strength minus 1. The negative effects I don't find to be that much of a hindrance, so that doesn't really matter to me. Then we have Marsupial, just a super fun one to have, you jump crazy high. Intelligence minus 1, Jump Height, Carry Weight plus 20. Scaly Skin, Energy Resistance plus 50, Damage Resistance plus 50. AP negative 12. Then we have Speed Demon, which alters your movement speed and your reload speed. So you're going to kind of get into this synergy where you're doing lots of damage. When you do need to reload, it's super lightning quick and you're getting a ton of XP per kill. So we know what mutations are, but where's the best place to get them? So there is the random way to get mutations, which is very, very chaotic. You can just get super irradiated and there's a chance you're going to get the mutations that you're looking for. But the guaranteed way to get the ones that you actually desire are either to buy them from player vendors or to buy them at the White Spring Bunker. So in order to have access to the White Spring Bunker, which is just south of the White Spring Mall, is to finish the Enclave storyline. And I don't want to spoil that for you, so go ahead and go out there and experience that for yourself. But if you don't want to do that, just hop around until you can find enough vendors that are actually selling the mutations that you want. But we're going to go ahead and enter into the bunker right now. All right, you spawn in here. When you first enter the bunker, going to use a key card that you get for completing the storyline. Head in through here, and there's a nifty little vault, which I'm assuming was just a test vault or something like that, whatever the Enclave was up to. Let this guy open up. Then you're going to want to hook an immediate left to go here to the elevators. Okay, so right when you spawn in here, just know right off the bat that this place can be a little bit of a maze. So make sure you're looking out for these signs on the wall. We're going to be looking for the Science Bay. So you're right here, Science Wing. Heading downstairs. Medical Bay. Production, Science Wing. Take a left in here. You're looking for these Modus terminals. Gonna want to go all the way over to Aid, and you can see here they actually sell these serums. You can buy the plans for these, but they are very, very, very expensive, as you can see. Now, you can use some of your Charisma perk cards to lower this just a bit, but it is going to be an investment one way or the other. But it's probably going to be cheaper just to buy them either from this vendor or from a player vendor. Okay, so then next up is your weaponry. So right now I'm using a fixer. It's actually not a bloodied fixer. I found that I'm already doing insane amounts of damage as it is, but a bloodied version of any of these weapons is going to be a maximum of plus 95% damage. So lower level players are going to be looking for the combat rifles. Once you're kind of more towards mid-game, handmade is going to be a fantastic option. And then end game is you're going to get a fixer. And to get a fixer, that's a whole other video topic in and of itself. But right now, if you're just getting started, definitely I would say go towards a handmade. But my fixer, I have lovingly renamed Capacity. Do you get it? plus 300% ammo capacity, replenished 15 action points with each kill, plus 1 to agility, plus 100 sneaking speed, plus 15 stealth in shadows. So again, we have all those stealth cards that are geared towards keeping us as invisible as humanly possible. Now let's go ahead and test out the damage that we can get with this bad boy. Okay, so we're here at West Tech, and we're going to go ahead and see how much damage we can output to a level 100 super mutant in stealth. We're going to hit criticals on this guy. Dead. I mean, that was like what, like 3 bullets? Just the damage output is nutty on this thing. And there's a reason why it's kind of the go-to build for most people. If you're looking to just blow through most of the large Republic events, this is an absolutely fantastic way to do it. And you get that gun fu when it kicks in, it's just so satisfying. So the reason why I like the 300% ammo capacity is because we're using the gun fu. So that one's dead, and then boom, right on to the next. You're not going to run out of ammo in your clip, and you can just bounce back and forth between enemies. It is very, very satisfying. Okay, so to wrap up the video here, we've discussed our special points, perk cards, legendary perk cards, the weaponry and armor you're going to want to use, and the mutations you're going to want to get. I know this is going to be a very, very long process, but just keep in mind you can start building towards it gradually, and if you're using all your commando perk cards correctly, you're going to be doing a lot of damage anyways, so we're talking about shaving off like milliseconds of time to kill. But if you're a freak like me that loves to optimize every single second of your gameplay, this is definitely the build for you. But as I always say, I love you boys, I appreciate you, I hope you learned something new about the game, and make sure you stop in for our streams. We're going to be doing that a lot more frequently. Our last couple have been absolutely fantastic. I love the little community we're building here in Barb's Vault, but until next time, I love you, I appreciate you. See you out there, Wastelander.